Hello! So I haven't made a blog on my website, gdaydesi.blogspot.com, for a while because writing takes so much time and I have to write so much lately. I woke up at like 5 in the morning on Monday just to get to school by 6 to write 2 essays for a class due that day. Not to mention another one that I have to do for my religion films class, plus like 5 more that we have to do on our own time for these movies and whatever. They sound like a bunch of excuses, but I swear, I'm not vlogging intentionally. And then I didn't make some video logs because if you watched any of the other ones that I put up within the past few months on like crappier quality things, not the one that I freaking bought, because I kept getting sound lag. And, you know, I'd be talking and be like, la 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 la, like later. It's so annoying. It was so bad. It wasn't just like a moment. It was the entire video would lag and it'd get progressively worse. So I think I figured out the problem. And if you're watching this, that means I did. Every piece of work that I had made, I'd held on to. Like it was still saved in the program and stuff. So I'm thinking because I deleted all those old files, there'll be room for new files and sound that fits with the file. I don't know. So if you're watching this, it worked. Frick yeah. So to make a fun comeback vlog, I've decided that I'll tell you a story. This is a story that I told recently, which is probably why I thought of it, but yeah, it's the story of my first kiss. I'll tell you right now, I didn't always have the boys on command. I'm just kidding, I don't now. But, I went to Catholic school from grades 2 to 7 and spent the rest of my time in public school. And what happened for me was in like kindergarten and first grade, I was like the coolest chick ever. It was like me and my best friend Cecilia, and we were just awesome and nice, and I think that's why we had friends outside of ourselves. My screen just went black. Okay. Outside of that, I started attending Catholic school, and I went to a Catholic school that was in like the downtown Phoenix area, which not all of downtown Phoenix is bad, but my school was bad. And so I was the minority at my school, and I was not well liked at all. But from that point on in Catholic school, it just kind of set the mood for Desi. I switched to a different Catholic school in Ahwatukee, which, if any of you know where that is, it's like everything looks like Arizona desert, like exactly what you imagine it to, and it's like rich town, so there's no wonder that a Catholic school was there. But no one liked me there either, and so I say that, you know, I didn't date anybody until 8th grade because I didn't want to, which is true, but even if I did want to, it's not like I had the choice, so don't be fooled in any way, shape, or form by this. I was a late bloomer with every other person that I know, I guess, but yeah. My first smoochy smooch happened in the 8th grade. It was first semester, and if any of you remember the movie Freedom Writers, it was when that one came out. To give you a little background, it was my 8th grade year was my first year, obviously, in public school, and the first class that I had together, I had with only like, I want to say 12 people. It was like a home ec class. We called it FACS. That class, I sat like alone. I had had like a horrible haircut before that year. Nothing was truly going my way in terms of this whole school transitioning because I had changed schools a lot, by the way, by that point in my life. So I went the first day and there was a girl in that class. She was like really loud and I was, you know, kind of shy and being new and stuff, and she seemed to know everybody, so I didn't say anything. Go to my second hour and that same girl is in my second hour and we kind of sit next to each other just cause I don't know why, and I'm like, have my little blue schedule in my hand and I'm creeping over looking at her paper, and I realized that every single class is like the same class. We don't have, I think, 4th hour and 6th hour together. because for my 4th hour I had math, and then 6th hour I had choir. For her, 4th hour was Spanish, and 6th hour was math, but our math teachers were the same. So we weren't together for 2 classes, but we had all but one of the same classes. So when I said that, I was like, hey, you know, like, our schedules are exactly the same. And she was like, oh my gosh, yes, best friends. From that moment on, Alex was my best friend. Going back the next day to 1st hour, it was myself, Alex, and another guy named Matthew. And we sat together. We ended up, you know, being in our group together with, like, one other person who ended up leaving later in the class because it was a little crazy. But, so it was just us 3. From like that moment on, and it like set the trend for the whole year. It was like me, Alex, and Maddie, nonstop, all the time, best friends. Alex and I were very similar in that we liked boys, but we weren't throwing ourselves around, I guess. Like we were, I would call ourselves respectable. Maddie, on the other hand, was crazy and wasn't afraid of letting anybody know. Anyway, so sitting in that class, one day we were like sitting next to each other right outside the kitchen waiting for something, and I'm putting on this lip gloss, and it's C.L. Bigelow for girls who know, and it's called Black Cherry Soda, and I'm not a creep. I haven't like held on to this like lip gloss intentionally. It's all gross, you know, like it seems like whenever I don't care about losing something I keep it, but whenever I really want to hold on to something I lose it. So I'm putting on this lip gloss, and Maddie has seen me put it on all the time, and he was like, what is that? Like, what does it taste like? And I was like, well, it's black cherry soda. It smells and tastes like it. And he was like, oh, can I try some? And I'm like, sure, why not? So I hand it to him, and he proceeds to take off the cap, squeeze like a glob on his finger, and at this point in my mind, I'm going, okay, you know, I guess he doesn't want to like put his mouth where mine's been, even though we drink the same drinks all the time. Whatever. So he squeezes his glob on his finger, and I expected him to like rub it on his lips or something, which I don't know why I thought that, but he expected him to like rub it on his lips and then, you know, lick it the way it works. No. This huge glob, which by the way, like, it was like larger than a pea-sized glob. He goes, eh, and licks it! I was like, oh, gross! Like, internally, I was like, you did not just lick that lip gloss. And so, of course, he's like, that does not taste like black cherry soda. And I'm like, yeah, Maddie, it doesn't taste like black cherry soda. The goo in the tube does not taste like it. It's supposed to be when you put it on your lips, and you barely lick your lips, just a little bit, you can taste it. And he's like, look, you're gross. You know, here's that lip gloss back. I'm like, fine. So, the day Freedom Writers comes out, or one of the weekends that it was out, Maddie, Alex, and I go to Wallace, and in 8th grade that was like the hangout, but only on Friday nights. We end up down there, we buy tickets to Freedom Writers, and it's only like us 3 in the theater, and then like way down at the bottom, like by the screen and like the crap seats, are a bunch of 7th graders, or sevies, you know. I don't know why they were sitting down there, like the entire theater was open. There's somebody outside my window. Okay. Matthew, being a womanizer, frankly, was like, ooh, sevies, I want to go investigate and hang out with them, and and Alex are like, no. Oh my god, Matthew, oh, they're sevies. You don't do that, okay? And he was just like, whatever, I'm going. So he gets up and goes. If you're looking this way, you're the screen, I'm the audience. It's me, Matthew, Alex. So Alex and I were looking at each other like, this guy. So he finally comes back, and we're sitting there, and the movie's like started, and we're watching it, and he keeps talking to us, but like, it was never, you know, like, oh yeah, this one thing, blah. He would be like, Alex. She'd go, Matthew. And then he'd say something to her, sit in silence for like a minute, and go, Desi. And I go, Matthew. And so we keep doing this little like back and forth, and finally, the like armrest is down, and I'm like leaning on it, you know, watching the movie, whatever, and he says my name, and I turn to him and I go, By the way, notice I said, He goes, mwah! Lays one right on me. I was like, hi. Hello. Alex just looks at it and is like, I'm watching the movie. And so he looks over at Alex and goes, Alex, and she goes, what? And he goes, mwah! And he does that a couple more times, and we were just like, what the hell? What just happened? Okay. And he's like, well, I'm gonna go flirt with those 7th graders again. Bye. And he leaves. And so I look at Alex and I was so mad for like a split second. I was like, that was my first kiss. And she was like, are you serious? But so we sit in like silence, and I got over it real fast, and obviously now I look back at it and I'm happier that it was with Maddie than anyone else it could have possibly been with. But yeah, the punchline being, when he initially grabbed my face, it was like, Desi, I say, he goes, mwah! He pulls back and goes, that really does taste like black cherry soda.